Alright guys, how's it going? It is Monday the 19th of December 2022 and you're watching KopTalk.tv. Alright, I want to give a shout out to Anto. Anto, thank you for supporting Let's Make KopTalk TV great again, you legend. He was the name that was missing off my list. And your name should be in the video description below now, my friend. And I will add it to KopTalk TV, the website, after I finish recording this video. Okay, so it might not be there at the moment, but when I get to my office, I will do that. So thanks for that, buddy. Have a good Christmas. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk to you really about just a couple of things. It's more cautionary than anything, and about changing focus. At the moment, everybody's obsessed with the possibility of pre-contractual signings with certain players, you know, or when we're going to sign Bellingham. And also when the club, you know, when is the club going to be sold? All right, club, Rafa, club, the club. You know, when the club's going to be sold or not sold, or will it be a minor investment? Blah blah blah. And I think all of those topics, all right, are the least important thing right now you should be focused on. I think you should be focused on Liverpool's league position. Now we're getting the football back, the real football. We had a cracking tournament. I made a video about that today. Right, love the World Cup, great. I'm not a big fan of international football, but I do enjoy the tournaments, you know, with the major tournaments. And when I say tournaments, I mean World Cup and the Euros, okay? Really enjoyed it. But the real football's coming back now. The real, you know, routine. I don't know what your life's like when it comes to the football, but for me, you know, like just, I don't know, I love Saturdays, even though a lot of games are not played on a Saturday, but the football programmes from the morning, the build-up, the interviews that have been made that week, and just the whole thing all around it, you know, the phone-ins on the radio if you're out in the car, anything really, you know, so the real football's back. And I want you to look at the Premier League table and look at that league table. And I think that, you know, this year, we need Champions League qualification more than ever before, right? Because I think that Champions League status, right, being a Champions League club, right, is extremely important going into next year in terms of those potential transfers and in terms of potential interest in you know, from buyers. The football, sadly, when it comes to domestic football, is all about the Champions League, right? We love the Premier League. I personally love the other cups as well, the FA Cup, even the League Cup. But domestic, you know, them little, your normal fixtures, your calendar or whatever, people are not really interested in. They're interested in the Champions League calendar. That's where all the money is, and that's where the big players are and the big clubs and all that. And my friend today, he's a Newcastle fan. You know, he put a post on Facebook, something to do with Newcastle's great support at a friendly or something. You know, and I commented to him and said, "Will you be bringing a DVD out?" And he replied saying, "You're only jealous, big dunk, because you know Newcastle's on its way to the Champions League and Liverpool aren't." He says, "We're not going to go to the Champions League next year." And I replied to that with this point. I said, "Yeah, there's a difference between qualifying for the Champions League and being a Champions League club." And I think it was Rafa that made that statement a few years ago. And it sunk in with me. I never really thought about it before, because you can... What Liverpool were doing, if I remember rightly, quite some time ago, was like in, out, and all that. And that's not a Champions League club. A Champions League club is one that is like, by default, is so good every year in the league that they're always going to get, you know, qualification for the tournament. And I don't have to educate you or remind you that this is all about money and mainly attraction to the players as well, because they want to be playing in the Champions League. That's where it's all at, right? So finding a player that is like, I'm all right, I'll join you when you're in the, you know, UEFA League or whatever the fuck it's called now, Europa League or whatever. It's all, you know what I mean. If you can find a player that says, that's all right, I've really, you know, I'm a boyhood fan, I want to come to you, and you know, I'm happy to grind it out with you, and we'll take us back up into the Champions League. That's great, right? That's really, really good. But they're very, very rare players, and I really do think it makes a massive difference in terms of attraction, and certainly in terms of financing. Now, some of you are maybe living in a little hopeful bubble at the moment. You know, think, well, it don't really matter, don't, because when we get these new owners in, you know, assuming there's going to be new owners, and I tell you, some people think there won't be any. Not people that I am friends with or anything. What I mean by that is I'm just observations. I'm reading what people are saying, you know, like on the members' website. I listen to what the members say. There's a couple of members go, I don't think we'll be sold, but who knows? They're just basing it on opinion. I've completely forgot what I was trying to say. Do I need to say any more? I just think that it's some of you, I think I said, some of you may be thinking it doesn't matter because new owners will come in, they'll spend the money regardless, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen. There still has to be, you know, owners that are going to come in are going to expect Champions League status, Champions League club. And I think you can drop out and miss a season maybe or something like that, but I think for Liverpool that's disastrous at the moment. The point I'm trying to make to you here is, instead of being all excited and really wanting these things, I think you need to be watching the league results at the moment and going, right, we've got to play well in the league when it all resumes. We've got to. I really do believe that, guys. Now, one thing I will say with regards to the ownership, and I said this on the stream on Saturday night, I mean, on a Saturday night we do talk a bit of football, all right, before we start cranking the flange, and if you don't understand, it's a very good song. Before we start playing Crank the Flange, that sounds better. Actually, does it sound better? I'm not sure it does. Or Balls Deep. Thanks, Seano, for your great contributions to society there. You know, we do talk football, and sometimes we'll have a few drinks and stop the music and talk a bit. And when I've had a couple of drinks out, I'll say what I really think about things. And I think if you were there on Saturday, you know, we were talking about the ownership situation. And I think we came up about the German, you know, the supposed German interest in Liverpool Football Club. Now, if you are on the members' website, you'll know way before that even surfaced that we were telling you that there is a group organisation in Europe. Obviously, there's going to be, you know, people interested in, you know, with the Saudis and Qatar, or Dubai, you know, the usual suspects. We know there's interest in America, of course. We've got American owners, so it'd be absolutely ridiculous to suggest that they're not trying to, you know, introduce people. And they would probably prefer a minor investment, get some money in, give someone some shares, but they've really got no say in the matter. So who's going to do that? You know what I mean? Minor investment is not a good idea, as ITV probably realised when they bought into Liverpool Football Club many years ago. Does any of you remember that? Let me know if you remember that. Didn't they buy 9.9% or something? How much was it? Can you remember? For someone research it. What I was going to say about that, sorry, the European link. So I do think there's a European link, but I'm very suspicious about the German stuff that you're reading. Well, then again, I don't know what you're reading, but I know it's out there because I don't follow any of this Twitter nonsense and stuff. Excuse me, a little bit of spit there. When I say suspicious, it doesn't mean that it's not there. I'm just suspicious of reported German interest in Liverpool Football Club, where it's coming from and what it's all about. And I've been told by people that I trust to be cautious with that. So I just wanted to mention it to you. I'm sure some of you guys... what the fuck is that? Sorry. Alright, yeah, messages could galore. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm sure if some of you guys, you know, pay a lot more attention to that, which is always a good thing to read what everybody's saying, I think. But I don't know. I don't want to waste my time on a lot of that stuff. But I just the reason that the video is, all them other things are nice, but I think if you want those things to come to fruition, pre-contract agreements with players going to cost £100 million plus, Jude Bellingham that's going to cost £100 million plus, new owners spending zillions on the club and all that. If you want all those kind of things to happen at Liverpool, I really do think that Liverpool Football Club needs to be in the Champions League. And if you dig deeply and listen to the right people, you will see that there's already little suggestions of that being a concern. Right? So it's not just me saying that. I said it at the weekend, and I think that you're going to see more of that suggestion. And that will probably be, right, because we know how FSG work, it wouldn't surprise me if over the next 4 to 6 weeks, or until the window closes something, maybe even beyond that, it wouldn't surprise me if those that tend to push out, I don't want to say propaganda, but FSG apology. So, you know, some people come out and oh, my video's screensavers. Come on, I must increase that. It wouldn't surprise me if you start to see over the coming weeks from the usual suspects, you know, like to lower your expectations a little bit. Like, I'm doing it as your friend. Well, I'd like to think so. I'm certainly doing it with good intent. I'm just saying, I really do think, guys, that as football supporters, we need Liverpool needs to be in the Champions League, and I want you to focus on that right now. But I think you're going to get the people that, you know, just be cautious. I think you might see people trying to dampen, you know, like say, well, you know, Liverpool would love to bring in Jude Bellingham, or would have loved to have brought in X player in January, but until, you know, the Champions League situation's confirmed, you know, later in the summer, you know, season, then Liverpool might have to wait on that a little bit. You might see that kind of thing, or you might see things along the lines of, well, you know, the player's delaying making his decision because he wants to see if Liverpool's in the Champions League. Basically, if we don't qualify for the Champions League, in the summer it'll all be like the ownership saying, like, via the people they get on with, telling you, well, we aren't in Champions League, so I'm afraid we can't deliver them kind of players anymore. I think that's going to start anytime soon. So if you don't want to see that, if you want to see your Bellinghams, if you want to see your pre-contractual agreements with other great players, if you want to see new owners coming in, then Premier League results matters, guys. They matter. All right, that's it. Now, so as I was looking through the comments, I want to do like a weekly video. I've been doing the weekly videos, but obviously with the World Cup, we haven't had a lot to talk about. I like to do them on a Friday. So please do, you know, leave comments, nice comments, please, because you're wasting your time if you leave nasty ones. But I did see one that was held by YouTube, and I can't remember what it said. It just said something. It was on a recent video of mine. It was like, fucking here he is, Mr. Fucking Negative. I am not negative. I am just trying to be honest and keep it real. You know, if you want me to, you know, put this on in every video and tell you everything's going to be all right, and you want me to be a top red and all that, right, then fine, we can do that, and we'll patronise each other, and, you know, we'll convince each other that everything's going to be hunky-dory, fine. KopTalk, right, is for grown-ups. It's as simple as that. We might be daft as a brush, right? We might like a giggle and a laugh, but it's reality. Yeah, if you want, like, you know, all positive, like, everything's going to be fine stuff, you're on the wrong channel. Because I'll just say it as it is. When everything's going fine, fucking great, absolutely brilliant. But I'm going to say it as it is, right? So, my opinion, for what it's worth, you don't have to listen to me. But I think that, one, it's common sense that you need that qualification to attract the best players and to have the money to make those players come in the first place. But two, I think that you will start to see more of a suggestion over the coming weeks. I've seen it once already, but I think you're going to see more and more of a suggestion about the importance of the Champions League. Now, that might change if we resume, you know, the campaign and we sort that, like, little bridge that gap out, you know, sort it, and that, then fine. But the reality is, I just think some of you are deluding yourselves if you think that we're going to go and do all this transfer business and bring in the best owners in the world if we're not in the Champions League. I just don't think that. I just don't think it'll happen. And also this video is to point out to you that I have my suspicions regarding the German connection. So I would really appreciate you guys that get stuck into all this, like, if you're seeing things about the German stuff, then please, you know, do come along on my comments. Do you know what? Have you seen that about the? Because I don't follow it. Right? I trust certain people, and that's enough for me. But I do know that a question that's being put to me a lot is about the German stuff, and my response to that would be, I'm a little bit suspicious about it, and that's it. All right, guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.